NVIDIA. Jensen Huang, the greatest ISING fraud case in history. The U.S. government was also an accomplice. The truth about 13 hours and 39 minutes. Ham Young-wook's H-36 development objective. This research was a desperate war against biological limits. February 21st, 2026. After not being able to sleep or eat for a week, I collapsed due to immersion and was admitted to the intensive care unit. As a result of continuing research day and night, even while lying in bed, due to an unstoppable speed, I had to be admitted to the emergency intensive care unit for the second time immediately after my first discharge on March 3rd. I devoted everything to the implementation of a hexadecimal computer. On March 12th, after the second discharge, finally, we completed the patent specification and started high-level AI simulations. The 5-minute miracle that broke down a 20-year barrier, non-conductive graphene barrier technology. The 5-minute miracle that broke down a 20-year barrier, non-conductive graphene barrier technology. The 5-minute miracle that broke down a 20-year barrier, non-conductive graphene barrier technology. The 5-minute miracle that broke down a 20-year barrier, non-conductive graphene barrier technology. Why haven't countless semiconductor engineers been able to think as simply as Ham Young-wook all this time? If you change your perspective, you can see everything. Initially, AI predicted that it would take at least 15 to 20 years for Ham Young-wook's H-36 technology to be commercialized. However, I did not accept the AI simulation results. Why haven't countless semiconductor engineers been able to think as simply as Ham Young-wook all this time? If you change your perspective, you can see everything. Initially, AI stated that it would take at least 15 to 20 years for Ham Young-wook's H-36 technology to be commercialized. 80 rigorous AI simulations perfectly verified my theory, and the PCT patent application proceeded quickly. The truth of 13 hours and 39 minutes, and the accomplices. At 9:21 a.m. on April 14, 2026, 5.3 kilos of paper documents containing confidential patent data for the base 36H36 development by Ham Young-wook were delivered to the commercial attaché of the U.S. Embassy in Korea. However, exactly 13 hours and 39 minutes after the delivery, NVIDIA Jensen Huang's ISING quantum computing technology was announced via YouTube. The U.S. Department of Commerce is also an accomplice in technology theft fraud cases like Jensen Huang's. Ham Young-wook felt so wrong that he sent an email to Jensen Huang and Micron Sanjay. However, he only read the email and did not reply at all. NVIDIA's Jensen Huang, the H-36 technology thief, was excluded from the economic delegation. The truth about Air Force One. Alaska, worse than a taxi. Due to the technology-stealing fraudster Jensen Huang, America's pride, Air Force One, has been reduced to a worse state than a taxi. Due to the technology-stealing fraudster Jensen Huang, America's pride, Air Force One, has been reduced to a worse state than a taxi. Due to the technology-stealing fraudster Jensen Huang, America's pride, Air Force One, has been reduced to a worse state than a taxi. Due to the technology-stealing fraudster Jensen Huang, America's pride, Air Force One, has been reduced to a worse state than a taxi. But then, suddenly, Air Force One went all the way to Alaska, picked up Jensen Huang, and went to China. Once Air Force One takes off, it has enough fuel to fly to China. Ham Young-wook speaks confidently to the world. H-36 is a technology for the advancement of humanity. I send a message to the binary cartels in the United States. from April 15, 2026 to May 29, 2026. The stocks of Micron, SanDisk, Intel, AMD rose abnormally in a short period. Micron up 113% from April 15th, $456 to May 29th, $971 KST. SanDisk up 90% from April 15th, or $891.72 to May 29th, $1694.98 KST. Intel up 76.60% from April 15th, $64.94 to May 29th, $114.68 KST. AMD up 99.94% from April 15th, $258.12 to May 29th, $516.10 KST. But why did the stock of swindler Jensen Huang's NVIDIA rise by only 6.16%? JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and the Fed believe this is because they know that Jensen Huang's ISING technology stole the design blueprints for Ham Young-wook's H36. Why isn't NVIDIA stock rising after they committed fraud by claiming to have developed the quantum computing technology ISING? It is 100% certain that Jensen Huang and the U.S. Department of Commerce are accomplices in the theft of technology. Semiconductors are no longer cutting-edge technology, but sovereignty. The country that owns the patents will become the global economic hegemon. Now, China can also produce H36 chips using the 10-nanometer process. The country that secures the patent rights for the Ham Young-wook H36 will become a global economic hegemon. Ham Young-wook declares the nullification of all pledges made to the United States to date. This is because we can no longer trust the United States, the paradise of the binary cartel, approved for worldwide distribution. 2026-0601. Ham Young-wook, Harrison Ham, representative of Youngwon NPT.
This technology is protected by an absolute legal fortress of 3 official patents. This revolutionary architecture will never be monopolized for private gain. It was developed solely out of a conviction for the advancement of humanity. Pico and nano process-based 36-base multi-valued logic. If the binary cartel loses and continues to insist only on the binary world as his natural.
이 기술은 3개 공식 특허라는 절대적인 법적 요새로 보호받고 있다. 이 핵심 권리는 글로벌 공공인프라로서 국가에 양도될 것이다. 기존 이단법 산업계에게 전한다. 변화를 두려워하지 마라. 함영욱은 이단법 카르트 정신을 못 차리고 H36을 공사할 것이다. 아직 19년 10개월 남았다.
Dateline. The moment where the old day ends and the new one begins.
There is a time machine on the Earth we live on, created by binary humans. There is a time machine on the Earth we live on, created by binary humans.
The modern denkological world is hitting a catastrophic dead end.
Nothing is impossible in this world. The only thing that cannot be done is to bring the dead back to life.